Welcome to CTV News. On tonight's show, we will be going inside the Colorado State University Early Childhood Center and their special guest.
We also have an inside look at the new beautiful fall weather coming in, plus a first glance into CSU intramural sports.
Good evening, Colorado State University. I'm Tatiana Parafiniuk-Talesnick.
And I'm Stuart Smith. And here's what's going on in the world of news today. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos has announced to repeal President Obama's Dear Colleagues guidelines. This Obama-era guideline is the requirement that schools carry out investigations based on preponderance of evidence. Emphasis is placed on quantitative evidence over qualitative. In theory, evidence provided by a seemingly more validated source could outweigh evidence provided by 7 other, less validated sources. The Red Whistle Brigade, an organization run by the Women and Gender Advocacy Center at Colorado State University, was on the plaza to show support for Dear Colleague guidelines. The Red Whistle Brigade is concerned for victims and that repealing this guideline will limit what colleges can do for victims who have not proved their perpetrator guilty. The Women and Gender Advocacy Center urges the community to stay involved going forward. Students can utilize the Red Whistle Brigade along with other support centers on campus.
Denver police arrested a suspect for a hit-and-run that resulted in the death of a Colorado State University graduate. Adrian Escalante was apprehended on September 13th for hitting and killing CSU alum Stephen Glad on August 26th. According to a news release from the Denver District Attorney, a black Land Rover hit a pedestrian identified as Glade on the corner of the 20th Street and Blake Street in Denver at 1:55 a.m. On August 26th, the vehicle drove away from the scene without providing aid to Glad or contacting police, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by the Collegian. Glad was pronounced dead at the scene after suffering severe head trauma to his skull and sustained bruises and abrasions to his torso. A bystander who witnessed the accident recorded a video that included the license plate. Later, surveillance video discovered that the vehicle received a parking citation earlier that evening, capturing an image of the driver on September 8th. An anonymous source identified the man as Adrian Escalante. Surveillance video from the parking citation and a mugshot of Escalante confirmed the identity of the driver.
If you have walked around campus within the last few weeks, you may have noticed some new signs, one of which caught my attention. If you have had any experience with any of the ID checks at bars, we would like to... On one version of the poster, it says that 213 CSU students were caught using fake IDs last year at bars and liquor stores around CSU. I wondered, what are the numbers for previous years? So I contacted Michael Katz of the Student Conduct Services, and he had numbers all the way back to 2013. In 2013-2014, there were 12 students caught with using fake IDs. The next year, in 2014-2015, 63 were caught. In 2015-2016, 201 were caught. Last year, 233 were caught, which is different than what the poster said. And so far this year, 13 students have been caught using fake IDs in bars and liquor stores around the campus. Another part of the poster says that police will be checking IDs at bars and liquor stores this fall, making it sound like it's a new policy. However, according to Andrea Coriel of the CSU Health Network, that policy has been implemented for several years now. She says, the fake ID poster is part of a larger campaign to give students a heads up about CSU PD and FCPS fall enforcement. She also added, this is nothing new. FCPS regularly conducts fake ID checks at bars and restaurants. I don't know about you, but that's not a policy that I'd ever heard of until I saw these posters. So you may want to check it out, and if you have any stories about cops checking your ID in bars or liquor stores, tweet us at CTV11 or tweet me directly at @NotStuartSmith. If you have had any experience with any of the ID checks at bars, we would like to hear your story. So tweet us at CTV11 or email us at ctv@collegian.com.
As with most cities in America, Fort Collins runs into the issue with not having enough spaces to house its homeless population. Fort Collins solidified their plan for winter shelters for its homeless population and presented that plan to members of the community Monday evening. Council members Bob Overbeck and Ray Martinez were among the dozen-plus community members in attendance. Overbeck stated that the plan for shelters is already approved and will not need to go to the Fort Collins City Council for any kind of vote. Monday's meeting was straightforward as the city still does not have its desired number of shelter spaces for the coming winter. The city currently offers 2 separate overnight shelter options in addition to warming shelters. Warming shelters are utilized from 6 to 10 p.m. in the evening. Individuals have the option of checking into Catholic Charities at 6 p.m. and are then given transportation to remote locations within the downtown and surrounding areas.
Colorado Representative Jared Polis visited Colorado State University's Early Childhood Development Center Monday afternoon to gain a better understanding of preschools as part of his initiatives to provide more access to education. Polis recently proposed 2 bills in Washington, D.C. that would expand access to affordable and quality education. The first bill aims to expand high-quality preschools to children, and the second aims to help students obtain an associate's degree. According to a media advisory, Polis came to Colorado State University and read to children in the Early Childhood Development Center. Karen Rattenborg, the executive director at ACC, said Polis visited the center to have a better understanding of what is going on with early childhood education and childcare in the Fort Collins area. Rattenborg said it is important for childhood development programs to be more accessible for families.
Amidst a time in which racially driven events such as the recent Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville or the noose-hanging incident in Newsom Hall encourage cultural division and social injustice, the 17th Annual Diversity Symposium offers the Fort Collins community a chance to explore diversity topics through different perspectives in a welcoming, inclusive environment. Taking place in the Lurie Student Center conference rooms, ballrooms, and theater between September 25th through the 29th, this year's Diversity Symposium features a keynote address speakers and 121 session presenters who are mainly from CSU and the wider Colorado area. This is the highest number of sessions at a diversity symposium yet. Topics will focus on a variety of issues ranging from affirmative action and Black feminism to social identity and campus climate surveys. Well, that wraps it up for everything in the CSU world of news.
But stay tuned for Zach Trombetta with the weather forecast and Alexandria Clow's update on all things Ram athletics.